Smooth, funkadelic, mellow tips be so. Mouthpiece of rice, your girl pearl be like. Any nigga that hate, just believe I got that. Yes, sir. I'm so good and suited. I'm so on, boy, it's when you're watching movies. When I spit, boy, it stick like a loogie. Got you stuck like breast, man, straight into Coogee. I like the southern fries, get on five, big booty. Sweet as apple pie, and she shine like a ruby. With a mind like ruby, so as I make her lose it. So bona fide, nothing woman watch me lose it. Send my blood, send the Solomon King, so who you following? Small for two giants, and tell me, baby, who taller is. My trial walk the ride, baby, looking like a lioness. The presence of your highness, so come here with your fine ass. So let me put some weight up on your mind. A flowers on the gills and water helps to shine. So if your man was a bum out here on the grind, instead of roses like the weed, coming down so clear, know I'm talking back. Loafers on my feet when I walk it out. So down and banging elbows, poking back. Disrespecting my name when you talking back. Never trust a smile with chicks with backsides like. Mouthpiece so right, you got your girl like. Any nigga with that hate, best believe I got that. Yes, sir. Coming down so clear, so hate face me hardly. Nigga mind on my ground, hand me laughing hard. Round 50, 150, little Timmy retarded. Niggas on revelation, my genius is getting started. Words like a prophet on beats, literally walking. Ice cold like Himalayas, walking like I talk it. You better get your chick a real nigga, her talking. My conversation blurred, so wild, nigga, the sparking like. It's amigo, badass Negro. Pops, badass mother, and me the sequel. My clique, not for real, leave Texas, there's no equal. You other niggas sick, better just leave it to Beaver. I'm shitting on this bitch like Steven Singer. Keep a hater on my hip like 90 people. If you a stingy nigga, just know that I'm a treater. I give out hands just like bones give out sneakers. Know that. Coming down so clear, know I'm talking back. Loafers on my feet when I walk it out. So down and banging elbows, poking back. Disrespecting my name when you talking back. Never trust a smile with chicks with backsides like. Mouthpiece so right, you got your girl like. Any nigga with that hate, best believe I got that. Yes, sir. I'm coming down, hold up. You got the roof, hold up. Straight to grind, do your south side, man, hold up. Both your elbows side when you coming straight up. One time for DJ Scoop, I said, man, hold up. It's a Texas thing, show me, say we stay, hold up. All ways, take away this apple brains, hold up. If you blind, can you blue over break, pull up. Throw that H in the air and let them know what's up. Rappers, baby, boo-boo. My flow thick like couscous. Boys throwing shade, it's my turn like Doug Goose. My stilo PS4 in that game, so PS2. Wordplay produce, faces that are obtuse. Followed by a stiff dab and they ain't fucking with you. I'm so sick, I choose. Zoom tight, I got you. I reign in the game, bringing lightning like Pikachu. Looking at your day, make her laugh like Peekaboo. Told you what I call with it. First round draft pick, so head and shoulders with it. Your whole top five so broke with it. Became a household name, Jehovah Witness, what it do with it. I think you fly, I'm so quitted with it. Over your mentions, niggas 2,000 how I'm whipping. Status unflexible, bull, yours baby sitting somewhere out in the poker nose, cold with ice fishing.
All right. Clap it up. All right. It's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General YAHANNA. It's Monday, the history breakdown class, where we break it down line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little, where we use external references to back up and support internally what's inside the Bible. All right. So now that we passed these 2 weeks of pagan holidays, we can get back into the series that we were in, talking about the different types of demonic possessions historically, and then also how you can identify them, right? So the first one was an all-out possession, just a regular possession, right? And the different characteristics of a regular all-out possession. One was speaking in tongues, right? Speaking a language that person does not know. Abnormal strength, right? And then sudden personality uh, changes and mood changes, right? Couple examples that we use. We did the young man that was a lunatic. He had crazy strength. They would try and chain him up with fetters. Fetters are chains for those that don't know, and he would constantly break those chains. Right? He would throw himself into the fire, into the water. Right? And when Christ came up on the scene, he asked the demon its name, and the demon said, well, for we are legion, for we are many, right? So you got to understand it only takes one demon to open the door. That's why you have to be constantly on par. You have to constantly, as the scripture says, you have to be sober minded, because the devil is a roaring lion seeking about who he can devour. All right. So when you're going about, you have to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? You have to fight for perfection. I'll give you an example. The example that we used last class was, say your partners want to meet up, they want to pregame before they go out and stuff like that or whatever, right? So you go, you smoke some weed, all right? So that's one spirit, right? Okay, y'all loosen up and all this stuff or whatever. You go to the club, you know what I'm saying? What you gonna do when you get to the club? You're gonna buy a drink. That's two spirits that you didn't invite it into your vessel, right? Now these two spirits is in you. A little mama come past you, you know what I'm saying? Or a brother walk past you, now you taking over by lust, because the music moving you, the weed moving you, the liquor moving you, you know what I'm saying? Now you looking at this shorty or this brother, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I'm gonna make her my wife for the night, or I'm gonna make her my husband for the night. Now you dealing with lust. You know what I'm saying? So now you got three spirits that ain't taking hold of you. You know what I'm saying? And then, you pushing up with this shorty and stuff like that. A dude bump you, you get into an anger rage, and then a fight breaks out. You know what I'm saying? The next thing a shootout happens in the club. Now that's murder. And all of that started with one spirit. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works. When you open up the door with one spirit, that spirit is going to invite other spirits to come in to take over your vessel to utterly destroy you. So that's one type of possession that we dealt with, right? So the next possession that we're going to deal with today is going to talk about physical pain, right? If you could pull 2 Corinthians 12 and 8, right? So characteristics of physical pain are sickness or injury due to the demon inside of them. And then it impacts the body, not the soul, right? So each class we're going to go over different demonic attacks, and each attack is to inevitably wear you down, in essence, to destroy you and to stop you from doing the work of the Most High God. All right. We're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 12, and we're going to start at verse 8.
Khan is the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12 and verse 8. For this thing I besought thee, Lord, thrice, that it might depart from me.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 9, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness.
So now this is Paul talking, right? So everybody knows that Paul, the old saying that Paul had a thorn in his side, right? Oh, hey, come, put her in the cabinet, the water. Appreciate you. All right. So everybody knows the old saying that Paul had the proverbial thorn stuck in his side, right? So here he is. He's pleading with the Lord, right? He's pleading with the Lord to remove this thorn from his side so he can do the work because it's affecting him, right? But what does the Lord tell him? The Lord told him that his grace is sufficient, right? Keep reading.
Most gladly, therefore, I will rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me.
Verse 10.
Verse 10. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities.
Say that one more time.
Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions.
In what?
In persecutions.
In what?
In persecutions. In distress, for Christ's sake.
Keep reading.
For when I am weak, I am strong.
So whenever you find yourself under attack, right, spiritually, all right, so when you feel yourself coming down, like with the sickness, a lot of times you got to pay attention to like what's going on, right? What is a byproduct of the sickness? What is the cause of the sickness? What were you doing? Don't just look at it as, okay, I went over to such and such house, you know what I'm saying? And, they kids had a cold, so I caught the cold, right? What was transpiring that day? You understand? Did you slip up? You understand? Did you lie? You understand? Did you do something inevitably that would break the law, statutes, and commandments, right? Whenever you do these things, you open the doors for a demonic attack, right? And then also, it's not always a judgment, because I always tell people, like, when you're in the truth and something's going on in your life, it's one of two things. It's a test or a judgment. In Paul's situation here, it was a test, right? So the test, so you see here where he says that I would not glory in my infirmities, because Christ said, when you do your prayers, don't do your prayers like the heathen who pray out in the corner because they have their blessing, all right? Or when you fast, you know what I'm saying? You sulking like, you doing that so somebody can ask you what's wrong with you. You understand? But when you are dealing with an attack, you understand, physically, no matter if it's with sickness, you understand, a physical pain in your body, you're to count it all joy and you're to move as if nothing is wrong. You understand? You should carry your affliction that you're being tormented with as if nothing is wrong. You should count it all joy that you're going through an attack, because what that is going to do is that is going to inevitably be a testimony for someone else when they come into the truth, when they're going through the thing. I always tell people all the time, how can you help someone if you've never been in that condition, right? How can you counsel someone in marriage if you've never been married? You understand? Like, why are you taking counsel from in your married from single people? That makes no sense. You understand? Like, how can someone counsel you when you lose a loved one, when you lose a family member, if you never lost a loved one or a family member? How can someone counsel you, like if you have a miscarriage, if you never experienced a miscarriage? The Lord puts you through these things in order to be there for someone. Don't always internalize, woe is me. Why is this happening to me? 9 times out of 10, what's happening to you is so the Lord can get the glory in the end, All right. Give me finish out 10. Did you finish it out? We'll read 10 one more time for me.
Come. The book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 12 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I take pleasures in infirmities,
Mm-hmm.
in reproaches, in necessities, in persecution,
Mm-hmm.
in distress,
Mm-hmm.
for Christ's sake.
You understand? So in all of these things, you should take on admirably. You understand? You should look like I'm gonna be honest with you. When things are going too good, I think something's wrong. You understand? If I'm not going through something or experiencing something, I'm looking for the okie doke. You understand? Because it's too good to be true. Things is and I know it sounds crazy, but if you're not constantly battling demons and in spiritual warfare when you're in this truth, you need to be looking over your shoulder or asking yourself, am I doing something that aligns, you understand, with the left hand side instead of the right hand side? All right. Give me what I want. Give me Mark chapter 5 verse 25. All right. So each scripture that we're going to pull, all right, is going to be dealing with a person that's dealing with a physical issue, a physical ailment, right? What we say? I said Mark 5. Let's see, Mark 5 and 25. Let me go there with you. All right, go ahead.
And I'm going to the book of Mark, chapter 5 and verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
And a certain woman which had an issue of blood.
Which had a what?
Which had an issue of blood.
An issue of what?
An issue of blood.
For how long?
12 years.
All right. So it's one thing to catch a cold, right? Cold, it come and go, right? Versus or you have pneumonia, you get rid of pneumonia, right? That comes and goes. Flu, that comes and goes, right? But COPD, that's something that you're walking around with. You know what I'm saying? That's an upper respiratory disease, right? That has an issue. So imagine you didn't had COPD for 12 years. You didn't have to sleep with a respirator. You can't, if you cough too hard, you lose oxygen to your brain, you pass out. If you laugh too hard, you lose oxygen to your brain, pass out. These are ongoing issues that you can say that's attached by a demon. So like in this situation, this person right here, this woman, she had an issue of blood for 12 years. Keep reading.
Verse 26. And has suffered many things.
And did what?
And has suffered many things.
Mm-hmm.
Many physicians.
You know what I'm saying? So she didn't went to Dr. Sabi. You know what I'm saying? She didn't went to Yaki Awaken. You know what I'm saying? She didn't went to Kelsey Sebo Clinic. She didn't went to MD Anderson. You know what I'm saying? She didn't went all over the known world at this time to try and figure out what is wrong with her. And she suffered many things. She done the all fruit diet. She done fasted, did the all water fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, she didn't took, all types of medication that's been prescribed to her. Nothing's working. You understand? So when you have an ailment and you dealing with it and there's nothing that the doctor can do, you know what I'm saying? Nothing that the specialist can do. You didn't try everything. 9 times out of 10, it's a spiritual matter. And the only thing that can deal with the spirit is another spirit. All right, keep reading.
And had spent all that she had, and was nothing bettered, but rather grew worse.
You understand? So going to all these different physicians, going to all these different specialists. I mean, hell, like, because my wife, she works, she's a nurse, right? And she told me in her office, just for one, like the visit, you know what I'm saying? Like the initial visit, dealing with cancer, like the diagnosis visit and stuff like that. When they add everything up, it's $20,000 for one visit. The initial visit is $20,000. You know what I'm saying? So imagine going to one visit, that's $20,000. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna send you this other specialist. We need an X-ray. You know what I'm saying? The X-ray, that's another $5,000. You know what I'm saying? Then they gotta draw blood. That's $2,500. You know what I'm saying? We gotta see what's wrong with your blood. Why are you bleeding? You know what I'm saying? They was like, okay, we can't see it here. Okay, we gonna do an upper GI. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we gotta get a barium specialist in here. That's another $5,000. You know what I'm saying? Okay, we did the bear. Okay, that we don't see nothing there. Okay, we gonna do a CAT scan. Okay, we gonna put you in the CAT scan machine. All right, that's another $5,000. You know what I'm saying? Like each time you go, it's like, okay, well, I didn't try, the technological medicine side. I'm gonna go to the holistic side. You go into these holistic retreats. You got to travel to get there. I think Dr. Sabi's spot was in Honduras. So let's say you live in Chicago, you got to fly down to Honduras, right? Because remember, you still got to take care of your bills at the house and stuff like that. Make sure that's taken care of. You know what I'm saying? While you gone, and then you got to fly down to Honduras, and then you got to do whatever Dr. Sabi tell you to do, and that ain't free. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you went to Dr. Sabi, you didn't spend $1,100 just a flight to get down to Honduras. You got to pay for the lodging there. That's another $600-700, and then whatever the treatments and the herbs and stuff like that, you got to pay for that too. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, we gonna go to YAHANNA Awakens. You know what I'm saying? All of this stuff is adding up. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't seen every physician and you didn't spent your last dime. All of this is to wear you down and to break your spirit to where the whole purpose is to remove hope. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 27. When she had heard of Jesus, came in the press behind and touched his garment.
And did what?
And touched his garment.
And did what?
And touched his garment. Verse 28. For she said, if I may touch his clothes.
Say that one more time.
For she said, if I may touch his clothes.
So when she's saying that, what is she still? So remember, she didn't went to she didn't had an issue of blood for 12 years. You know what I'm saying? She didn't suffered many things and many physicians, right? And she didn't spend all that she had and nothing was better, but rather she grew worse. And then she heard that Christ was coming, and she was like, man, only if I can get to him to touch the hem of his garment. In spite of everything that she done went through, what did she still have?
Salakia, she still had a hope in Yahawashi.
She still had hope in Christ. You understand? That is going to always be your salvation. A demon's job is to make you feel alone, isolated, that you have no hope. So you won't call your brother. You won't call your sister. You won't call the captain that's over your zone, to your camp leader, to get counsel. You won't call the generals. You know what I'm saying? Because when you don't do that, that just puts you in the room and your body, you just ready to give up the ghost. You're ready to die. You're like, oh, woe is me. I'm destroyed. F it. I don't even know why I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? I'm just here. I might as well just roll over and die. That's what the demon wants. But she, in spite of she had every reason to give up, but she heard Christ was coming. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mindset that you have to have. You didn't try everything else, but keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And once we go through each of these stories, we're gonna go to the curses, and I'm gonna show you what happens. Like if you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments, one of these curses is going to fall upon you. You understand? And an issue of blood is a form of inflammation somewhere in your body. All right. So she had hope. So first thing you got to remember, you got to have faith in spite of your situation. Your faith has to be stronger than your situation. Keep reading.
Verse 28. For she said, if I may touch his clothes, I shall be whole.
You shall be what?
I shall be whole.
She said, if. You know what I'm saying? Like, so another thing that you have to realize, and we're going to see the pattern as we go. Every person that got healed, they didn't just get healed because Christ did it. They had faith. They had faith before they even came to Christ that Christ could do it. You understand? So when they came to Christ, the Lord got the glory out of the entire situation. Keep reading.
Verse 29. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up.
It was what?
The fountain of her blood was dried up.
Mm-hmm.
And she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague.
So now, the only way that she could feel that, you understand, if there was something in her, you understand, that was stopping her, right? So imagine you feeling drained. And you know, sisters can more attest to this, right? Because when sisters are on their monthly, you know, they're temperamental, they're moody, you understand, they feel drained. It's because it's an issue of blood, you understand, because blood is passing through them, right? But imagine if, sisters, if you had a never-ending cycle, you understand, and then one day it just, boom, you just got a burst of energy, you understand? That's what it felt like for her. She didn't feel drained. She felt empowered, right? Keep reading.
Verse 30. And Jesus immediately, knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him.
That what?
That virtue had gone out of him.
Now what? Now when he said that virtue had gone out of him, what is he talking about? What is that? Matthew 5:30 is when it says that. When he says virtue, what is he talking about? When he said he felt virtue go out of him.
It meant that he felt power, he felt energy coming from out of him. Right.
So he felt some of his strength and his ability leave out of him.
Right.
You understand? And now watch what the disciples say. Keep reading.
Had gone out of him, turned him about in the press, and said, who touched my clothes?
Mm-hmm.
And his disciples said unto him, thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, who touched me?
This is how you know this some black Hispanic natives, man. It's like, Negro, we walking through a crowd of people. You gonna ask who touched you? Look where we at. You know what I'm saying? All these people out here reaching for you, saying Christ. You know what I'm saying? You gonna say who touched you? But when your power or your strength goes up out of you, I mean, most people, like, you know, I to give a secular example for divine clarification, you know what I'm saying? For men, to give you an example of like your strength, like leaving you, is when you're with your wife, you know what I'm saying, in a biblical sense, if you know what I mean. When you become in one, and you become in one flesh with your wife, you understand, and you're trying to conceive a child, right? In the ending process of you consummating with your wife, y'all know what it means when the strength leaves you, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? It is a unforgettable feeling. You know what I'm saying? You just KO. You feel me? So you know when your strength leaves you. You feel me? Or, you know, like if you working out, you know, and you know, you doing 4 sets of 15, and you on that last set, and the first 3 sets you was banging them out, and then you go hit rep number 10 on set 4, and you get stuck, you like, man, my strength not there. My strength is gone. You know what I'm saying? It's the same type of situation, right? So Christ was very aware that something that was in him left. And he's like, who touched me? Keep reading.
Verse 32. And he looked around about to see her that had done this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him,
mm-hmm.
and told him all the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole.
Say it one more time.
Daughter, thy faith hath made me whole.
Mm-hmm.
Go in peace and be whole of thy plague.
You understand? So you have to have faith. The only way that you're going to be able to battle and do spiritual warfare, you have to have faith. If you don't have faith, you're going to lose, right? Like a lot of times we have more faith in common medicine than we do in Christ. You understand? When you go to the to Walgreens or CVS, you understand? And you go buy that DayQuil or that NyQuil, you don't really know what's in that DayQuil or that NyQuil. You have faith that by you taking this DayQuil or this NyQuil, that it's gonna knock out whatever you have. When you take Zyrtec or you take Claritin, you understand, you don't know what they didn't compress, you know what I'm saying, in this medicine. You just know that it helps with allergies and it clears it up. It's going to give you relief for 24 hours. You understand? So when you take it, you're taking this medicine on faith. You understand? So based off of your faith, you will be healed. So much so in psychology, they have something that's called the placebo effect. All right. Do you know, Sapar, you know what a placebo is?
What's
a placebo?
A placebo is something like a medication that people take and they think that it's doing something, but it have no ingredients to actually cure the condition.
Right. So like when they do human trials for medications, right? So they'll have a control group that doesn't take the medication. Like they'll get, like say they all suffer from, I don't know, we'll just say allergies, right? So we'll tell them, you know, we came out with this new pill, Claritin 35. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be better than Claritin 24, right? And it's supposed to wipe out any allergies that you have for, no, we're going to say, 24, for 4, we're going to call it Claritin 48. So instead of 24 hours, you're supposed to be clear of your allergies for 48 hours, right? So one group is a control group. They don't know that they're the control group. We're going to give them the placebo. The placebo is just a sugar pill. You know what I'm saying? And in the other group, we're going to give the Claritin 48, and we're going to see what happens, right? Now, in this control group that they give the placebo to, in a lot of situations, they can't explain it, but these people are healed of whatever allergies or ailments that they have because they believe that what they've been given heals them, right? So this is why Christ says if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains, right? So that's why Christ told her, daughter, thy faith has made thee whole. You understand? You believe, like I didn't come to you, I didn't lay hands on you. You believe if you just got to me that you will be healed. So that should tell you right now, if there's anything that you want to do, if you just believe and you really believe it, you can achieve it. I know it sounds extremely cliche, but that is the truth. Christ said, if you believe in me, that you can do these things or greater. You understand? And Christ is not a man that he should lie. Because clinical trials have proven that placebos work. All right. So we know that the consistent thing in all of these demonic possessions that you have to have in order to fight is hope, right? You have to have faith, right? But you have to have faith in the right thing. You have to have faith in Christ, faith in the law, statutes, and commandments, right? In order to battle these demons. All right. All right, let's go to the next story, next example. Go to John chapter 9 and verse 6. I'm gonna go there with you. John chapter 9. Let's see. Let's see. Start at verse 1. Start at John 9 and 1.
It's the book of John, chapter 9 and verse 1. And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth.
Mm-hmm.
And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?
Stop. Why did his disciples ask him that question?
So, like, they asked him this question because they knew the scriptures in the Old Testament.
When you say that they knew the scriptures in the Old Testament, expound upon that.
So, like, that means that any evil or wickedness that an individual would do, if they don't get paid or get punished in the current life, that if they die and come back, they will serve that punishment out.
Okay, all right, cool. I got that part, right? So you went the super spiritual route. You know what I'm saying? You went to the fourth dimension with it. You know, you talking about reincarnation, right? But make it more practical. Why did they ask who sinned? Why is it when they saw this blind man, they immediately asked who sinned?
So, like, because from the culture back then, that it was out of two things: either he sinned or his parents sinned, and they serving their judgment out from him to be in such a base condition that he was in.
All right, go to hold what you got. Go to Deuteronomy 28. Go to 15. Read 15 first, and then I'm gonna have you read something else.
Then I'm coming to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
And do what?
And overtake thee.
And do what?
And overtake thee.
What does it mean to be overtaken?
To overtake, to be destroyed.
All right. Drop down to 22.
Come to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 22. The Lord shall smite thee with consumption.
With what?
With consumption.
All right, so let's go to the Strong's Concordance on that. Hold on. Deuteronomy 28, 22. All right, so in the Strong's Concordance, consumption, That word is shakapath, right? Which means a wasting disease. A wasting disease or disease of the lung. So this is when it says a consumption, this is any type of disease in order to take you out. All right. Keep reading.
Come. And with a fever.
Right. So a fever, if you have a fever for too long, guess what? You'll die. Keep reading.
And with inflammation.
All right. All right, so there's different type of inflammation, right? So you have inflammation of the joints, you understand? You can have inflammation in your lungs, you understand? Which is like emphysema, you understand? You can have inflammation of your liver, that's called cirrhosis. You understand? These are all things that you can die from. You understand? You have inflammation of a brain that'll cause a brain bleed. It'll make you have a seizure. You understand? Keep reading.
Come. And with extreme burning.
You understand? So, we all know what that burning is. That's a sexually transmitted disease. You understand? STI, urinary tract infection, herpes, gonorrhea, chlamydia. They got this new thing called the blue waffle. Look it up. You understand? Keep reading.
And with the sword.
Mm-hmm.
And with blasting.
Mm-hmm.
And with mildew.
So blasting and mildew, that's pus. You understand? So these are all things that can consume you, right? So another thing, a cause of blindness, it could be an inflammation in your retina, right? So just like the Lord sends angels to bless you, you understand? The caveat to that, the Lord is sending demons to curse you. They're all angels, right? They all work for the Most High God. Nobody does anything that the Lord does not allow them to do. And we know that when we read the book in the story of Job, right? So this is why when the situation happened, that's why the disciples asked Christ, who did sin, this man or his parents, right? All right, let's go back to it. We had John chapter 9 and 3.
According to the book of John, chapter 9 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus answered, neither have this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him.
Say it one more time.
That the works of God should be made manifest in him. Verse 4, I must work the works of him that sent me, while it is day. The night cometh, when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world.
All right. So it'll be a situation in your life, right? Like I give you an example, right? Like for me, right? If it were not for the series of unfortunate events, I'll give you a perfect example. I had lost my job. I was facing eviction. My car got repossessed. And these were all things. So before I came into the truth, I was raised as a PK. For those that don't know, that's a preacher's kid, right? But I went to church one day to a young adult Bible study, and I had asked a question about a scripture, because it's something that I looked up, and I got an answer from the associate minister or the associate pastor at the time, and I knew he was lying, right? So I asked myself, well, if you lying about this, what else are you lying about? So I left the church, you know, with the sole purpose and the sole question to ask myself, am I a Christian because I was classically conditioned to be a Christian, or is this a spiritual system in the God of my ancestors, right? And as I walk further and further away from the church, you know, I traveled the world and all of this stuff or whatever, basically to find out who my people are and who is the God of my people, right? And the more and more I did this, the more and more I studied history, the more and more it brought me back to the Bible. So, and then I posed a question, like it was within myself, but I was really talking to God. I said, God, if you're real and you're the God of this Bible, and this is where I'm supposed to be, you know, show me. So through a series of events, they were unfortunate events, it led me to brothers that led me to the truth. And if it would have never been for those unfortunate events to happen, like I'd be somewhere probably, well, not probably, because when I left out of the industry, I was, because my degree is in architecture, you understand? Like I would have been, like when I left, I was making $85,000 a year, right? So, and I was on track and trajectory to become licensed and to possibly become, you know, partner, right? And if that would have happened, I wouldn't be in the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have had my God. I would have had my heaven. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have been in a place of need to where I would have been able to hear God. So the Lord will cause a series of unfortunate events to happen in your life, you understand, so that he can show up and show out and show you who he is. You understand? So that's a situation that's happening in this situation. Go ahead, Sapar.
And you know, it's so heavy that you said that because that was the same situation in the book of Exodus when Pharaoh was down with letting the children of Israel go, but the Lord purposely hardened his heart to show his power in the earth.
Right. So that's what you and then Ahab, you know what I'm saying? Like with the prophets of Baal, the Lord asked his angels who will be a lying spirit in the mouth of his prophets. Right. You understand? So the Lord will do certain things he'll allow certain hurdles and stumbling blocks to come before you, or the Lord will allow them to come into someone else's life for you down the road so that he can show his power through you or through that person, right? So these are all different type of possessions dealing with the same thing. So this brother had an ailment. His ailment was blindness, right? So normally, like when I ask Sapar, you know, why did they ask why this brother sinned? Because the only time something like this happens, right? So I'll give you a perfect example. So if you have a child, that's 9 times out of 10 born with Down syndrome, or has Down syndrome, or has like a decrepit limb. One of the reasons for that is incest, right? So like if two brothers and sisters have sex and they have a child, that child is going to come out with some type of deformity, right? Whether it's a physical deformity or a mental deformity, right? To give you an example of if a child comes out and something's wrong with it, why someone would be like, well, who sinned? The child in his past life or the parent? You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you a secular example or another example for divine clarification of a situation like this, where in those times, another situation that will come up if that situation arose, right? And Christ said neither, right? It could be a situation where both parents were righteous and stuff like that, and a child comes up with some type of like illness they're born with. Like prime example, when I turned 13, you know, I ended up, you know, having an organ failure that I still deal with to this day. You know, I pray to God all the time for him to heal me. You understand? My situation may be like a Paul situation where his grace is sufficient for me. Because if I wouldn't tell you that, you know what I'm saying, you would never know that, because I don't carry myself like that. I don't carry myself as, oh man, feel bad for me because I have this, you know, ongoing ailment that prevents me from doing certain things. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm out here running miles with y'all in Hebrew Academy. You know what I'm saying? Doing push-ups, you feel me? Sit-ups, everything that y'all doing, I'm doing it right there with you. So you would never know. That's how you're supposed to move. You know what I'm saying? In spite of, you should always move with hope and with faith. That is the only thing that's going to counteract and battle these demons. All right? Keep reading.
It's the book of John, chapter 9 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
When he had thus spoken, he spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle. And he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay. And said unto him, go wash in the pool of Shalom, which is interpretation sent. Went his way, therefore, washed and came seeing. Verse 8, the neighbors, therefore, and they which before had seen him, that he was blind, said, is this not he that sat and begged? Some said, this is he. Others said, he is like him. But he said, I am he. Therefore said they unto him, how were thine eyes open?
Now, peep this, right? So imagine you seeing a blind, and back then, you know, they didn't have shades to cover their eyes, right? So the way you knew someone was blind is that their eyes were dim, right? And if you ever truly met someone that's blind, you know what that means, right? So like their pupils, the best way I can describe it is like their eyes are faded. The color in their eyes are faded. You understand? It's because it's a damage to the retina. There's a damage to the pupil. And then imagine seeing that in this person's eyes their entire lives, and all of a sudden their eyes look as deep, dark, and brown and hazel as everyone else's. You understand? They be like, man, hey, bro, like, I can see your pupils. I can see your retinas, bro. Like, bro, how did this happen? Keep reading.
Verse 11. And he answered and said, a man that is called Jesus made clay and anointed my eyes and said unto me, go to the pool of Siloam and wash. And I went and washed, and I received sight. Then said they unto him, where is he? He said, I know not. Verse 13, they brought to the Pharisees him that aforetime was blind. And it was the Sabbath day when Jesus made the clay and opened his eyes. Then again the Pharisees also asked him how he had received his sight. He said unto them, he put clay upon my eyes, and I washed, and do see.
Now, and another thing, right? So when you come to receive counsel, right, to battle your demons, right? When you get the counsel to have this spiritual fight, when you get the counsel, 9 times out of 10, it's going to sound foolish, right? So imagine you've been blind your whole life and Christ say, come here. He'd be like, what? He's like, you want to see? Like, I mean, yeah, I would like to, but likely that is not going to happen. Like, well, sit right here. I'm about to spit in this dirt real quick, and I'm going to make some mud pies, and I'm going to put them over your eyes. And when I put them over your eyes, I'm going to cake them up over your eyes. I want you to go wash in that water over there. And you be like, what? Like, nigga, I've been washing my face my whole life. So you telling me because you spitting some dirt and put some mud pies over my eyes and I go wash it out, that I'm going to be able to see again. It sounds crazy, but in order for that to happen, what do you have to have? You got to have faith. You understand? Like, no matter what situation that you're faced with, it may seem hopeless. That is the demon's job. His job is to wear you down and to make you feel like there is no hope for you in this life. You can do nothing. You understand? But if you have hope, like Christ said, if you have faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains, man. All right, we're gonna move to the next example. Let's go to the Old Testament. Let's go to 2 Kings. I think it's 2 Kings chapter 5. We can start at verse 1. Go to 2 Kings. Chronicles. 2 Kings, what I say, chapter 5. All right, started chapter 5 and verse 1.
Is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 5 and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Naaman, captain of the host of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master and honorable, because by him the Lord had given deliverance unto Syria. He was also a mighty man in valor, but he was a leper.
But he was a what?
But he was a leper.
He was a what?
But he was a leper.
Now, if for those that don't know the law, Sapar, if you are a leper, you're considered what?
You're considered unclean.
You're considered unclean. You understand? Like, you know, it's his issue is no different than that sister, the first sister that we read about who had the issue of blood for 12 years. She was unclean for 12 years. You understand? Like, this brother is a mighty warrior. You understand? But he's unclean. He's a leper. Keep reading.
And the Syrians had gone out by companies and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maid. And she waited on Naaman's wife. And she said unto her mistress, will God my Lord word with the prophet that in Samaria, for he will recover him of his leprosy.
All right. So she's basically telling him, like, I know this prophet is out there in Samaria and the Lord is with him. And if you go down there, he might be able to heal you. All right. Keep reading.
Verse 4. And one went in and told his Lord, saying, thus and thus said the maid that is of the land of Israel. And the king of Syria said, go, and I will send a letter unto the king of Israel. And he departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of raiment.
All right, drop down to verse 8.
Verse 8. And it was so, when Elisha, the man of God, had heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, wherefore hast thou rent thy clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel.
That there is a what?
That there is a prophet in Israel.
You understand? So he's telling the king of Israel to send Naaman to him, right? So that they can know that a prophet is in Israel. So what is Elisha telling the king?
That everything that he heard was true.
Right, but not only that, he's doing this so that the Most High can get the glory. Because you got to understand, in this time, Israel was going back and forth. Well, not really going back and forth. they was serving Baal. You understand? And they was thinking Baal was this all-powerful deity. If you go and you made sacrifices to Baal, that, you know, he would do this, he would do that. And they're doing all of this, and none of that has changed. He was, and Elisha was like, okay, send him to me so that you can know that a true prophet is in the land of Israel. Keep reading.
Verse 9. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth.
He was what?
But Naaman was wroth.
He was what?
Was wroth.
You understand? Bro, imagine, okay, we in Houston, right? So imagine us being in Houston and like, let's say you got cancer, right? And you know, you done tried everything, right? And I tell you, it's a man in Florida, you know what I'm saying? He a prophet, and if you go to him, he'll heal you. You know, you excited. You know what I'm saying? You thinking, you know, he gonna, you know, give you like some ointments or some or some herbs for you to take, or lay some hands on you. And now, mind you, you're not a nasty person. You know what I'm saying? You take baths and everything every day. You clean. You know, you take care of yourself. You take care of your health because you have to, because you got cancer, right? Anything can set this over the edge, right? And when you get there, you fly from Houston to Florida. You know, as a matter of fact, let's take the flight out of the equation. You drive from Houston to Florida. I've done that. You know what I'm saying? That's about an 18-hour drive. You understand? And when you get there, you standing at the door of the tent. He was like, Isupk? He was like, yeah, you the one that Tazadot told me about, right? He was like, you be like, yeah. He's like, okay, go out there in the swamp and dip in the swamp 7 times. You're going to be like, nigga, what? Yeah, go out there and dip and jump in the swamp 7 times. Like, go jump in the swamp, be fully submerged in it, like you dive in, then come out, dive in again. I want you to do that 7 times. If you do that, when you do that on that 7th time, you're going to be healed. You're going to be pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, bro, it sounds foolish. But in order for it to happen, you got to have what?
Faith.
You got to have faith. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why Naaman was pissed off is because he ain't believe it. Right. Keep reading.
Khan and went away and said, Behold, I thought he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of the Lord his God and strike his hand over the place and recover the leper.
See, this is the common issue with most Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because you're overly superstitious. You understand? And the Lord, and that's why in the New Testament, when the Pharisees came and they asked, how do we know that you are the Messiah? And he said, "O wicked and perverse nation seeks after signs." You understand? You're gonna get the same sign as in the time of Noah, which was the word. You looking for lightning and thunder, smoke and mirrors. You looking for a show. You understand? And the Lord, the Most High, is not a genie. You understand? That you coming for the Lord. Look, you's like, Lord, if you just bless me with a high paying job, you understand, where I'm making like $100,000 a year, you know, I'm gonna be all right. But I need this from you. You understand? And you expecting that the Lord is gonna say $100,000 job. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't online searching no jobs, putting in no resumes on Indeed. You're not out here putting in no applications. You're not doing what the scripture says to ask, seek, and knock. You're not exhibiting no type of faith. Go ahead, read.
Right, and
I'm sorry. Go ahead. What you was about to say?
And right, so that's so heavy you say that. Cause some people think the dog just gonna say "Wallalabaka."
Right, you know what I'm saying? They think they gonna get the Johnny Quest, the Sim Salabim, the Alakazam. You know what I'm saying? The abracadabra and poof. Right, you know what I'm saying? What you need is here. That's not how it works.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You have to move in faith. The scripture says, ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened unto you.
That's right.
In all of these situations, you have to exhibit what? Faith.
Right.
You understand? So the reason why he doesn't believe, the reason why he's upset is because he was looking for a show. He was looking for a sign. Keep reading.
Verse 12. Are not Ab-Anna and Par rivers of Damascus better than all the waters of Israel?
Look, and then he says, like, you want me to jump in the Jordan? He was like, but shoot, the Farpar River and rivers in Damascus is way better than this Jordan River in Israel. Why wouldn't you tell me to do it there instead of here? Keep reading.
May I not wash in them and be clean.
Mm-hmm.
So he turned and went away in rage.
Keep reading.
Verse 13. And his servants came near and spake unto him and said, my father, if the prophet had bid thee to do some great thing, wouldst thou not have done it? How much rather then when he saith to thee, wash and be clean?
Say it again.
How much rather then when he has said to thee, wash and be clean?
Now, basically he's saying, like, if he would have told you to do some mystical quest, you understand, like climb to the top of Devil's Tower in Yosemite Park, you know, and once you reach the top of the summit of Devil's Tower, you will be healed. You know what I'm saying? If he would have told you that, would you not have done it? Because you would have thought it was an impossible task, and because it's an impossible task, you have faith. If you reach to the top, you will be healed, right?
Yeah.
So why not so much more? It's him telling you to go jump in the river and bathe yourself and wash and be clean.
So like he was expecting like a Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Exactly. He want the shock and thrill, shock and awe. But you got to understand, the Lord is not going to come in the way that you think he's going to come. You understand? Like, a lot of sisters, they be saying they want a man with a 6-figure job, you understand, benefits, dental, 401k, you understand, got a nice car, and it can take them on 2 to 3 vacations a year. You understand? That might not be the man for you, sis. You understand? Because you mess around and get that man, and he treats you like this cover on this incense burner. You understand? He just treats you like a trinket in the item. He talks to you crazy. He treats you crazy. He beats you. He verbally abused you. He chastised you. You understand? But you got you got Travion over here. That's a mechanic. You understand? Every time he see you, you know what I'm saying? His eyes light up when he see you. You know what I'm saying? He adore you. You know what I'm saying? He been asking you to go out on a date for years. He be like, man, girl, when you gonna let me take you out? Like, Travion, stop playing with me. You know what I'm saying? He be like, all right, you want synthetic, you want regular oil. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you know what? I got you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put some synthetic in your car. It's gonna last longer. You understand? And I see that you got your engine kind of knocking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take a look at that for you. You know what I'm saying? This man is trying to look out for you and take care of it, because he don't show up in a suit and instead he in coveralls. You understand? You look past it. You understand? The Lord is never going to show up in how you think he should show up. He's going to give you what you need. You understand? Not what you want, because 9 times out of 10, the thing that you want is going to hurt you, because like if you eat candy every day, yeah, it tastes good, but what's going to end up happening? You're going to get cavities. You understand? Keep reading.
Con. Verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
Then went he down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God.
Mm-hmm.
And his flesh came again, like unto the flesh of a little child. And he was clean.
And he was what?
And he was clean.
And he was what?
And he was clean.
And he was what?
And he was clean.
Mm-hmm.
And he returned to the man of God and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, Behold, now I am that there is no God in all the earth.
He said, Behold, now I know.
Salakia. Behold, now I know that there is no God in all the earth but in Israel.
But where?
But in Israel.
But where?
But in Israel.
You understand? Remember what Elisha said. Elisha said, and it was so. And when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had rent his clothes, and he sent to the king, saying, Wherefore thou hast rent thy clothes? Let him come now to me, and I shall show you that there is a prophet in Israel. So his goal was that the Most High would get the glory. You understand? Anything that you do, you understand? If you want to guarantee for sure that you're going to get it, make sure it's for the Lord. You understand? Your mindset should always be in service to the Lord. And when you're in that type of spirit, the Lord will give you your heart's desire. You understand? And the Lord healed Naaman because Elijah's mindset was not, I'm not going to heal Naaman because I want the world to know Elijah is that man. He was like, no, send him to me so you know that it's a prophet of the Lord in Israel. And what's the first thing that Naaman said when he came out? His skin was fresh like a newborn baby. What did he say? Read that again.
Come. I know now there is no God in all the earth but in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Now therefore, I pray thee, take a blessing of thy servant.
Verse 16.
But he said, As the Lord liveth, before whom I stand, I will receive none.
Mm-hmm.
And he urged him to take it, but he refused.
Now, this is a key thing. Why did he refuse the payment?
So like it, because all the power and the glory was for the Most High God.
And not only that, you understand, like your pay, like the scripture says, like when Christ was talking about, prayer, right? He told them, don't do it like the Pharisees, right? Because the Pharisees, they do it out on the street corner, you understand, to be seen. They have their gift. Already. You know what I'm saying? They have their reward already. You understand? But go to your Father in secret, and he who you pray to in secret will reward you openly.
Right.
You understand? He was like, I didn't do it for the money. You know what I'm saying? I did it for the Lord, and the Lord sent you here to me in secret. You understand? And when you go back, you know what I'm saying? And the world sees you because you are this great, warrior and stuff like that, the Lord is going to get the glory. You understand? And then that will be my reward. And I will get a reward from that because the Lord has been taking care of me. Yeah. You understand? So now you hold that. Right? Now, mind you, this was Elisha's instructions. Now watch what happens when you are disobedient and not follow the instructions of a man of God. Keep reading.
And it'll come verse 17. And Naaman said, shall there not then, I pray thee, be given to thy servant 2 mules, burdens of the earth? Mm-hmm. For thy servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offerings nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto the Lord.
You know what I'm saying? So he was like, well, shoot, I can give these, I can give some to your servant. He was like, no, you understand? Your payment is that you will make no more sacrifice to other gods, but unto the Lord. You understand? Your payment for you being healed is for you to now serve the Most High God. You understand? That is more precious than anything that you can receive on the face of this earth. That to know that because of the work that you did, you won someone over to the kingdom to serve the Lord. There's no greater feeling because the scripture says there is no greater sacrifice than a man to lay down his life for his brother. You understand? Keep reading.
Verse 18. In this, the Lord pardon thy servant, that when my master goeth into the house of Ramon to worship.
All right, drop down to 20.
This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 5 and verse 20. And Gehazi.
But Gehazi.
It's like it. But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, behold, my master hath spared Naaman, this Syrian, in not receiving at his hands that which he brought. But as the Lord liveth, I will run after him and take somewhat of him.
Say that again.
I will run after him and take somewhat of him.
Listen, if you don't know how to follow orders, you understand, something is going to always happen to you. You understand? So the scriptures, matter of fact, this is a perfect teaching point. Hold what you got. Matter of fact, I'll read it so you can stay where you at. We're gonna go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 1. All right. So this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass if thou shalt hearken. So hearken means to what? Listen. Right? It says, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God to observe, which means to see, right? And do all of his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee upon high above all the nations on the face of the earth. Now, the counterpart to that in verse 15, it says, but it shall come to pass if thou shalt not hearken diligently, which means listen. You understand? If thou shalt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God to observe, to see, and to do all the commandments and the statutes which he commanded you this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Right. Now, Gehazi heard what Elisha said to Naaman, right? He said, nah, I'm not going to accept no payment from you. You know what I'm saying? Because the reward is that you're giving glory unto the Lord. You understand? And he saw what the Lord did because of this. You understand? And even when he was like, well, at least let me leave these two asses, which these 2 donkeys, you understand, as payment, he was like, no, your payment is that you no more make sacrifice to other God, but now you make sacrifices unto the Lord. So he heard, he observed, and he watched what Elisha did. Right. You know what I'm saying? And he has in his mind that, no, you know what I'm saying? You know, my master, you know, he turned this down, but no, I'm going to go and get some of that. Now, you think if the person that is over you does something and you go against what they did, do you think it's going to work out in your favor if they find out what you did? Keep reading.
Verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
So Gehazi followed after Naaman, and when Naaman saw him running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, "Is all well?"
Verse 22.
And he said, "All is well. My master hath sent me, saying, Behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray thee, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments."
Now, did Elisha say that?
La.
You understand? So you start. So remember what I told you. All a demon needs is what? For a demon to possess you, what does a demon need?
Just a little opening.
A little opening. You understand? You broke the law, statutes, and commandments. Like it was just a little lie. You know what I'm saying? He lied. He said, "My master sent." He's like, Naaman was like, "It's all well." He was like, "Yeah, my master sent me down here, you know, to get, you know, a talent of silver and 2 raiments, 2 garments from you." You know what I'm saying? You like Elisha didn't say that. That's just like when the serpent came to Eve in the garden and was like, you know, why won't you eat the fruit? He was like, well, if I eat the fruit, I'ma die. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the Lord said. You know what I'm saying? And the serpent knew that. He was like, if you eat the fruit, you will surely not die. You know what I'm saying? But your eyes will be open and you'll be like God. You feel me? So when you lie, you open the door for things to happen. All right, keep reading.
So come verse 24. And
no, verse 23.
Slack it, verse 23. Slack. Mm-hmm. And Naaman said, "Be content, take 2 talents." And he urged him, and bound two talents of silver in 2 bags, with 2 changes of garments, and laid them upon 2 of his servants, and they bare them before him. Verse 24. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go. And they departed.
Keep reading.
But he went in and stood before his master, and Elisha said unto him, "Whence comest thou, Gehazi?" And he said, "Thy servant went no whither."
He said what?
"Thy servant went no whither."
So now he done lied twice. You understand? Keep reading.
And he said unto him, went not my heart with thee, when the man turned again from his chariot to meet thee? Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and olive yards and vineyards and sheep and oxen and men servants and maid servants? The leprosy therefore of Naaman shall cleave unto thee and unto thy seed forever. And he went out from his presence as a leper.
As a what?
As a leper.
As a what?
As a leper. As white as snow.
So now, what is taking place is that the demon then jumped from Naaman now to Gehazi. You understand? Because all it takes is for you to like if maybe if he would have told the truth, you understand? Like, you know, maybe Elisha would have chastised him and had mercy upon him and probably made him go and take and send it back. But not only did you lie once, but then you played in his face when clearly he already know what you done did. You understand? So, and the scriptures clearly say, you know what I'm saying, in Deuteronomy 28, you understand, in 15, if on this day, from this day, if you do not hearken, he didn't listen to what Elisha said. He went against what he observed Elisha do, and then he saw what Elisha did. He did the exact opposite. You understand? And then he lied about it, not once, but twice, and that opened the door for that demon that was on Naaman to now possess him. Right. You understand? This is why you have to fight daily to be perfect. You understand? And if you fall short, you need to confess. You understand? Because if you do not confess, you leave the door open for the demon to have his way with you. You have to fight. You understand? And when you have to be accountable at all times. If you don't, you leave the door wide open for the demon to take control. All right. Let's see what time it is. 8:54. All right. We're gonna stop here and we're gonna continue here next week dealing with this form because we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more different types of demonic possessions. All right. So next week we're gonna do the third part, which is really the second part, dealing with this type of demonic possession, which is physical pain. All right. So quick review. All right. So in order for a demon to take hold of you, what has to happen?
Like you have to leave a little opening up for him.
Right, you have to leave a little opening up for him. You understand? And once you leave that opening, like the scripture says, that spirit is gonna come and see you clean and swept up. It's gonna go out and get 7 more demons that's stronger than itself to take hold of the vessel.
You're gonna have like a kid and play house party.
Yeah, demons gonna have a house party in your body. You know what I'm saying? You gonna have weed, you gonna have alcohol, you gonna have lust, you know what I'm saying? You gonna have a little bit of gluttony going on, you understand? You gonna have you gonna have like a little bit of thievery in you. Right. You understand? They's gonna be having a party, you know what I'm saying? Passing you around. Right. You feel me? To have their way with you. You understand? So, and then, the type of demonic possession that we're dealing with today, you know what I'm saying, and what we're going to continue next week is dealing with issues of the flesh and not the soul, right? So things that can affect your body. So we went to Deuteronomy 28 and 22 to really break down, what we talking about, right? We talking about consumption, you understand? So the consumption can come from fever, it can come from inflammation, it can come from blasting, it can come from mildew, you understand? Pus, all this stuff or whatever. These are sicknesses. You understand? So the curses that are in Deuteronomy 28 are different ways that demons can possess you to overthrow you in what it says in Deuteronomy 28 and 15. So the only way to combat this, you understand, is by 1, keeping the law, statutes, and commandment. And secondly, in all things, you have to keep the faith. You have to always maintain faith to battle these demons. Their job is to remove all hope from you, because once you have no hope, you're isolated and you just ready to give up the ghost, and they can take you over, they can just kill you. Right. You understand? So we're gonna pause right here, and we're gonna pick up, do the second part of this type of demonic possession, which is physical pain. So with that, we're gonna say Amajim, which means to stand. Sar, which means to turn. We're gonna face the east. We're gonna do the Lord's Prayer first in Hebrew, then in English. Repeat after me. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malak with Ka, Thaba'ab, Ratazayaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'aratazah, Kawa, Hayah, Bashemayim, Nathalanalawa, Lakam, Call, Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawap Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawati Nawa, Wala'ah, Tabia Ayanawa, Banasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Lakab, Hamalakwa, Wahala, Wahata Para, La Awalamium, Aman. In English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Sar, turn your face in front. We'll give a courtesy salute to the brothers and to the sisters. The visual, by the Shabbat, Baju, Rock, Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah Brakatah, Yadabata, Sar, turn your face sisters. The visual, by the Shabbat, Baju, Rock, Yahweh Shema Atah Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah, Yadabata, dismiss.